We live in a society right now that God hates. I'll just tell you straight up. So when you just stop back and stop and think about, well, what all are we doing that God hates so much? And a lot of people, they're just going about their daily business, right? You know, they're not being mean to anybody. They're not stealing or, but God still hates what they're doing. They're fueling this fire, and it's all about the covetousness of this world, because they still go with their buddies to the bar and watch the hockey game. What's wrong with that? Well, they're worshiping the man, right? And you can see all the John 3:16 signs in the stands, where they're basically calling their best player the Son of God, right? Just blaspheming the word of God, things like that. That's the extent of it. I'm just using men. I mean, it's so many different. If I sat down and thought about it and wrote down a list of things that we do that are just a reflection of the already, okay, that's why the sin that leads to death, it leads to death. That means it begins there. And it leads, and the end result is pride. So it starts off with idolatry. That's why you stay away from idols. And the end result, so it takes time, as the 3 or 4 generations, that's the way God explains it. Once it ends, after the 3 or 4 generations, and guess where we are on the timeline on that prophetic mindset? We're in the 4th generation, or the 3rd or 4th generation. Because when did we start doing Christmas and Easter? God scattered us to where he scattered us. What we end up doing when we break the commandments, it's like we are enabling others to do the same thing. And it keeps going down that. That's why it's a train wreck at the end of that. The sin that leads to death is idolatry. Really what idolatry does is why Paul compares it to covetousness. And when John says it's the sin that leads to death, is because as soon as you do that one act, anything goes. The end result is anything goes. You see, at first, I bet you the Christians, when they first started putting the Christmas tree in their house, obviously, they were not even close to as evil as they are today. Not even close. But the next generation got a little bit worse, more complacent, and just deeper and deeper and deeper into sin. Now they make excuses for homosexuality in a lot of the churches. In fact, they even put gay or lesbian pastors right up on the pulpit and call it good. How did that happen? Because even in those same denominations, let's say 30 years ago, there's not a chance they would ever do that, or 40 years ago. So get this. Why would they be doing that? Because you can see the church is always compromising with the ways of the world. Compromising, Oh, just come as you are. Come in. We do whatever you want. Just keep paying us, and we'll just keep lying to you so that you just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And they want, and that's the hard part. And everybody wonders why the whole church is deceived, or the whole world is deceived. Well, it's the church that did it. That's the sad part.